We were running late still, but we are here. Let me know if you can hear me and see me. I don't have a fun background still. We had the yard sale this weekend, and my nephew was here helping me take the rest of everything to Goodwill. And so he just got picked up. So I ran a couple minutes later. That's why we had to push it out. But we are here. We are here. So thank you for being on. My husband is off screen, but I think he's going to pull up so I don't miss any of the chat as it rolls up. Yeah, sweet. So he's off screen. It's been a crazy weekend. We had a lot of people here helping, which was awesome. And we are on schedule, if not a little in advance, trying to get everything done to get moved out of here. If you are just catching us for the first time live and don't know, we kind of lost our income and we are packing everything up and moving by April 30th, which is why we kind of switched it to only lives through April until we get out to Arkansas, to my friend's house. And then we are going to be resuming doing regular videos as soon as we get out there. Hello, Nicole. Thank you for joining. So yeah, let me know where you are from, and if you have questions and so forth. I know Nicole. Oh, thank you, Nicole. I know you had some questions about the vanilla extract. Oh, you're from New York City. Oh, how fun. Hello from the other coast, because we're in California right now. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into vanilla extract. And if you have other questions, make sure you ask them in the comments and we will get to them. But so with the extract videos I have done, so I did one on how to make just vanilla extract, and then I did one on starting my mother jar, and there were some questions on the difference between a mother jar, a regular jar, how I use beans the second time around, and the ratios and why, and all of that. So I wanted to go over that a little bit, so I had another place where you can ask questions if I'm not, it's harder with type, I think, sometimes to get my thoughts through. So with vanilla extract, I get my beans. That was one of the questions I had somebody ask me. I get my beans from Indri Vanilla Group on Facebook, and it's a co-op. They have an actual business page where you can buy them at full retail price, but then they have a co-op group where you can buy them pre-order by the ounce, and that makes it a lot of times $7, $8, depending on the type. There have been some that are closer to $20 an ounce. I haven't personally ordered those yet. I usually average between $8 and $12 in there per ounce is what I pay for vanilla beans. And when I'm making my extracts, I never go by bean. I weigh it just like I would my sourdough or anything else, and I weigh it by ounce. And so I'll take my mason jars, usually what I make my extract in, and I'll put my jar on the scale, zero it out, and then weigh what beans I'm putting in. And I do 1 ounce of beans per 8 ounces of alcohol. And I use rum because my daughter has to be gluten-free, and in all honesty, vodka gives me headaches when I drink it. I don't know why. And so I just, with me cooking with it and using it sometimes in whipped cream and stuff, I would rather something that doesn't give me headaches and that is less likely to have gluten in it. So I use rum for just about everything. I've done spiced rum, white rum, gold rum, and silver rum. I usually try to keep it at 80 proof, so 40% alcohol, and that's just what I use. for all of my stuff. Now, you can mix alcohols if you wanted to. Every alcohol is going to bring different types of flavor. People make vanilla extract with bourbon, with whiskey, vodka, like any alcohol you can think of. They kind of, you can make it with it and it will change the flavor profiles. Also, depending on what type of vanilla bean you get, will change the flavor of the vanilla as well. So the country of origin will make it sometimes taste more chocolatey, or sometimes have more of a caramel or cream undertone. Some will have like fruity or flowery undertones. So there's going to be some that are cured in different ways too. There's bourbon cured vanilla and Mexican cured vanilla. Now, that does not mean that bourbon is used in the curing process. It just means it's the curing process that's used by the Bourbon Islands. And then there's the Mexican cured. So bourbon cured, I think, is, if I remember right, has more to do with there's water or steam or something with it. And then Mexican cured, there's more with the sun that is used. And so that can really change the flavor profile as well. So you have where it was grown, and then you have the type of curing method. And so a lot of people, when they get into vanilla extract, really have fun getting different flavors, different country of origin, different curing types, and they'll make a little bit of all kinds. And then so they'll make a little bit of different types and then figure out what they like. And that's kind of what I did. I believe, Nicole, there is a difference. For me, I think it really depends on the person, and it depends on the person, and it depends on your taste buds. Some people have no, I don't think, care at all, and some people do. So for me, I've had friends who have used the vodka for that, and I just personally prefer the rum. So I would do maybe, if you want to do a taste test difference, do 1 ounce of beans and 8 ounces of alcohol, and do the same beans in rum and the same beans in vodka, and see if there's a difference. So the other thing is, people say, like, you'll see all different kinds of information on the internet about how long you should leave your extracts to brew, I guess, to steep and infuse in, right, and create. And the minimum you want to leave it is a year. If you are using a stronger alcohol, like a spiced rum, or a whiskey or a bourbon, you might need to leave it 2 years. I have left mine for 1.5 to 2 years, and I'll start using it at that year mark, and I just didn't decant it out. I just poured some out and used it. And it gets better as the time goes on. And that for me was another, I don't just use the date. I use kind of when I feel like this is as good as it's going to get. This is what I really want. And so sometimes I'll leave it for the 2 years, or I'll do it early. It just depends. The other thing, when you're doing it, a lot of times when you make homemade vanilla extract, you will always have the smell of alcohol. Some beans naturally have more vanilla in it, and it will have a little bit more of, it almost looks like oil, but it's the vanilla in from the beans separating in with the alcohol. And sometimes that will cut a little bit of the scent, but even my 2 to 3 year old extracts smell like alcohol. And so there is something you can do with oak blocks that are meant for smoothing out alcohols, and something else that the Indri Vanilla retail site carries, and they have different finishes. Like I think they have light, medium, and I don't remember if it's dark or heavy or what it is. But they have different levels of the oak that you can put into your extract after you take out the beans and you decant it. And that's what all decanting is taking the extract away from the beans, okay? And you would put the oak block in there and let that sit for 2 weeks. Now, I have oak blocks, I've just never done this. I'm just telling you that I know that this is something that you can do, and I've done a lot of research into the process. So you put it in there for 2 weeks, and it's supposed to mellow out that alcohol-y scent that you are getting from your extracts. So that's something to keep in mind. So that is something you could do to do that. Now for testing it, I make a small batch of whipped cream to test it out and see if it's at a point where I like it. And you just take a cup of heavy whipping cream and some powdered sugar, like 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar per cup of heavy whipping cream, and add a little bit of your vanilla extract into it, maybe a teaspoon or so, and whip that up in the blender until it gets the peaks, and then you can use that in your coffee or on anything. And that's how you can kind of tell if it's ready and has rich flavor and it's something you want to use, or bake something with it where the vanilla is really going to shine through. You don't ever want to try vanilla extract pure and just taking it on a spoon, because you're still going to get the harsh bite of the alcohol. Most of the time when you're using vanilla extract, you're going to be cooking with it, or you're going to be mixing it into some sort of dairy something. So I know people have suggested using like a yogurt or cream or something. I have found that the whipped cream helps me in a way that this is how I would use it to try it. So that is always my suggestion. Whatever you do, you don't want to take cream and then just pour out the vanilla extract on top of it and not mix it, because then you'll get a harsh alcohol and not have it fully incorporated on what it's going to taste like. So that is my suggestion for that. And then as far as reusing the beans when you decant them, so there's 2 different methods before I go to that. I keep a lot of mine. This is my Madagascar bourbon cured beans with silver rum in 1 jar. And then this is my Mexican cured Madagascar beans in a different rum in this jar. And then you can decide, though, that you want to refill those jars after you decant the alcohol out and keep the flavors separate and just add more alcohol on top of them. Or you can mix your beans and mix different types of alcohols and create a mother jar. And so depending on your process here is going to depend a little bit on your next steps. So I'm going to go over keeping your flavors individual if you have a bunch and you want to keep them completely separated, and how to reuse beans, and then how to use a mother jar per se. So if you have an individual jar with, let's say, 2 ounces of beans and 16 ounces of alcohol, that's what you need for the single fold extract. If you want double fold extract, you would be using 2 ounces of beans and 8 ounces of alcohol to make it even stronger. And that's a whole different story. I only do single fold though. So regular, what the FDA, I think it's FDA says is extract is 8 ounces of alcohol to 1 ounce of beans. So if we have a jar that has 2 ounces of beans and 16 ounces of alcohol, that is single fold. And if it's been going for 1.5 years or 2 years and you are ready to decant that and just use the extract and start another round of extract in that. Those beans have had a lot of things used out of them. And to continue to use or to get a full strength extract, you now need to cut your alcohol ratio in half. And so if you've decanted out all your extract and you've put it into a new jar, and you're going to use those 2 ounces of beans for a second round extract, then you only want to use 8 ounces of alcohol. So that is the ratio for second time batch would be 1 ounce of beans to 4 ounces of alcohol. And I would just do it in the same jar to make life easier, and it would already have the label of what it is in there, and then you just start your brewing time over and get another year and a half to probably year and a half, year to year and a half. Now for a mother jar, people do mother jars a million different ways, and it's really a preference. Some people only use the exact same alcohol and the exact same type of beans, but they have this mother jar that keeps going. It's a perpetual jar that you're going to keep going for years. Other people will mix the type of alcohols, mix the type of beans, and create a very complex style of extract. And so it'll be very different. It's going to change every year, because if you're adding different alcohols in there, then it's going to adjust the flavor. And you're adding different beans with different flavor notes in it. Oh, I'm going to see, pause please. So would you add new beans to the second use round? I would not add new beans to the second use round. If it was in an individual jar, that is not a mother jar where it's mixed. That way I know that round is done. If you felt like it and you wanted to do that, you would have to do the calculations, and that gets more complicated. And it's easier for me to go, this is my second round, I'm going to use those beans for something else. So if you did it and you added new beans to it, you would do, okay, so let's say you had, I'm going to go back to the 2 ounces of beans to the 2 ounces of beans in the jar, okay? They've been used, they've been decanted. Now, for those 2 ounces, I would then put only 8 ounces of alcohol for the second round, right? Now, if you have more room in that jar and you want to do more, you can go ahead and add 1 more ounce of beans and 8 more ounces of alcohol. Just make sure those ratios are different. You don't want to weigh your already used beans with your brand new beans. And that's just why I keep them separate. But you could put them together like that. Just make sure your calculations line up. Second use beans go with 4 ounces of alcohol. First time use beans go with 8 ounces of alcohol. Let me know if that answered the question for you, Nicole. Before the mixed mother jar, and when I'm starting, that's the video I just started, my plan for that is going to be, I'm going to take the beans. So I started it with all second use beans, right? And I don't remember the amount of beans I used. I went through and I took a bunch of different beans out, and they're all rum, but it was mixed alcohol. It was gold rum, it was spiced rum, it was silver rum, and I went ahead and those beans have that rum soaked up into it, okay? And so what I did was I took it and made, I weighed the beans and knew how much I was putting in. I kind of subtracted a little bit of the weight based on me knowing that they're full of alcohol and knowing how much I originally put into the container, and kept it at the however many ounces of beans I had. I did 4 ounces of alcohol right, for each ounce of beans in that. And then I went ahead and I added my alcohol, my rum. And I believe I used two different types of alcohol in that because I did mainly silver rum. And then I think I topped it with my spice rum that I had, but I don't remember for sure. And now in a year and a half, about, I will take that and I will pour out about half of the extract that's in that, and I will leave half in there. And I'm going to take out those beans, and because it's all second use beans, I'll take out those beans and I'm going to use them for something else. And then what I will do is I'll put all brand new beans in there and then top it off with a new alcohol, and that will be at the 1 ounce of beans to 8 ounces of alcohol. And it's going to be a random variety of beans, whatever I have available that I can order. And it will be whatever alcohol I feel like doing. And then it's still going to have some of that old extract in the bottom of the variety of beans I already put in, and the alcohol that I had already put in. So it's going to have an already made extract in there along with fresh alcohol and fresh beans. So now that regular extract, already done extract at the bottom that's mixed in now, is all diluted. So you have to wait another year and a half to use that. And then you're going to go ahead, and when that's done, you could strain out what you want to use, decant it out, and put it in a jar that you use in the kitchen. And then I would do the second use amount on that a year and a half from now, and add whatever alcohol I want to the top of that, but to 4 ounces of alcohol to 1 ounce of beans for that, and keep that rotation using. So I'm getting as much out of those beans that I absolutely can. And then, so how I use those beans is going to be, I'm going to try a few different things. So most of the time when I make vanilla sugar, I use fresh beans. I don't use second use beans that have already been in alcohol. I just take them straight from the bag that I ordered them in, and I put them in the in the sugar, and I let them steep and go for a while, a couple of months, a few months, and then as I use it, I put it into my vanilla sugar jar that I'm using, and then I refill over the beans and with sugar and let them keep infusing the sugar with flavor. I do that same thing with salt as well. So when it comes to using the beans from the extract, my plan is to dry them out and to powder them and use them in something that way. I have people in my life that don't always want things that have been in, like they don't want a strong alcohol and stuff. They want the option to have it or not have it. So when it comes to the sugar, it's nice that it doesn't have alcohol that's been in it for the most part. It comes with a little bit of alcohol in the bag, like it had soaked it up, but it's not very much, and I don't want soggy, wet sugar. So for this, I would make a powder, and then I can use that in scrubs that I make. I can use that in any of the beauty products I want to use. I can use that in my cooking, or I can mix that powder that I make into a vanilla sugary thing as well. There's lots of things that you can do with that. Some people will take the wet beans and dehydrate them and then put them in the sugar, but sugar is a preservative and it will draw that moisture out, and I feel like I get good flavor when that happens. Once they're rock hard, I don't get as good a flavor in my vanilla sugar. And so I feel like when I put them in there moist, it's good, but I don't want my sugar sticking all together crazy. So if you were going to use your spent beans on that, I would let them dry out a little bit, but not have them dry as a stick. Like, don't put them in the dehydrator and make them rock hard before you put them in your sugar. That's just my piece of advice. Does anybody else have any questions? Or Nicole, do you have any more questions on vanilla and the way I use it and the mother jar difference and the all of that? Because I know people do things differently, but there's a lot of confusion with mother jars because people do mother jars all differently. And so I think it's different when you're mixing your alcohols, mixing your beans, or you're keeping it the same all the time. Kind of the complexity and how you deal with it. So, but that is kind of my thing on vanilla. I love vanilla. Even vanilla that's 6 months old and not a year old tastes better than vanilla from the store to me. Now I haven't had like super expensive, like I've heard that like vanilla from Mexico is supposed to be super good. But I haven't had that. I just have had the little vanilla extract bottles that you get at the grocery store. And it wasn't ever my favorite thing. But it was this vanilla extract homemade is amazing. Yes, after 2 years, my extract still has an alcohol smell. It's made with alcohol.
Smell or taste?
Smell and taste if you taste it raw. If you taste it straight from the jar, it will still taste like alcohol. It's still very much there. But as soon as you put it into whipped cream and make whipped cream with it, or as soon as I bake cookies with it, it's all vanilla. There's no alcohol flavor to me. And so, I mean, that worried me at first when I smelt it, but as soon as you use it, it's not. So you can't go off of the smell from the jar to know that it's ready. And it's all about the taste when it's used. And I would use it in whatever way, I would test it in whatever way that you're planning on using it. So if you're planning on, so if you're planning on making cookies with it or baking with it, I would bake something with it and see if it has the flavor that you like. If you're going to use it in whipped cream and things like that, then use it in that and try it out and see. And I would make sure that you're pouring out of the bottle and not dipping into the bottle, because the more you introduce things into the bottle, the more chances of contamination. Most things are going to be killed by the alcohol. That's the whole point of having the 80 proof alcohol. I think that's important too, because to make extract, you need between 70 and 100 proof for vanilla. So if it's over 100, it can, I'll get to the smoothie thing in a second. So what was I saying? Hold on. So if it's over 100 proof, there's something about the strength of the alcohol that can damage the flavor of the beans. And it can change or ruin, in some people's opinion, the flavor of your vanilla extract. So you will see some people use Everclear. And Everclear, I think, comes, I don't remember the strength amounts, but they come in like 190 proof or something like that. And so it's really, really strong. You can't drink that plain by itself. Well, you shouldn't be drinking that plain by itself. So they dilute it with distilled water, and to a point where it hits that 80 to 100 proof, 70 to 100 proof in there, okay? And you want to mix that before you put your beans in. Otherwise, you'll end up with cloudy extract. So they have a calculator thing on the Injury Vanilla group. Somebody shared it, so you would know how much Everclear and how much distilled water to get to whatever proof that you want to get to. I like doing 80 proof because sometimes vanilla beans have more moisture in them. And a lot of the alcohols that I have used are just automatically 80 proof. That means the alcohol itself is 40% alcohol and 60% water. So that's the alcohol makeup. Um, and that's why like wine coolers are like what sometimes 2% alcohol. That's it. And so it will change because alcohol is always kind of cut with something. You can't just drink 100 or 100% alcohol. I think it would like tear up your whole insides. So in a smoothie, if that's how you use vanilla extract, you can do that. I want you to think though about how much you put in your smoothie and where you're going, because that's pretty much the same thing as pouring. If you're putting a couple of tablespoons in or something like that, that's basically having a spiked smoothie with amazing vanilla flavor in it. So a lot of people like just drinking rum straight, and so having a super vanilla-y shot of rum may be somebody's like cup of tea. That's what they love, okay? But it's still going to be spiked. And a smoothie isn't heated, so you're not going to lose your alcohol content, right? And so you have to make sure that however you're using it, you're wise with that. And that's why some people, I haven't gone into the glycerin style vanilla extract where there's no alcohol, because some people, like kids, will sit there and eat a ton of whipped cream. Well, if you're using a homemade if you're using a homemade extract, I mean, when you make whipped cream, it's very little extract you're putting into the thing of whipped cream. So it's not really a concern for me for that. But if you have somebody who's had an alcohol addiction or substance abuse problem or something like that, that alcohol is not cooked out. There's still alcohol in there. It's just such a minor amount that it doesn't really affect the same way. But if you're cooking with it, the temperature will heat that alcohol out. A smoothie, it would not do that. So I just want you to be wise if you're going to put it in your smoothie, that you need to consider that a spiked, like, don't just be wise when you are drinking that smoothie and driving. That's all. That's my suggestion, especially being on the internet and people getting the advice. So, but I have never put it in a smoothie, but I think my best friend, my husband, and I may all try that when we get out to Arkansas. Because I think that would be good.
I like it in the whipped cream.
Yeah, it's really good in whipped cream. It is. Like, I've been a whipped cream fan, but I've never been like homemade whipped cream with homemade vanilla extract is the best whipped cream
It's the next level.
I have ever had. Like, it is amazing. It is amazing. So, yeah, I hope that answered some of the questions. If there's any more, let me know. But that's about the proofs. It's about the mother jars. Is there any other questions on anything else as well?
The proof is in the pudding.
The proof is in the pudding and the vanilla's in the... What movie is that from?
Oh.
That was from a Hallmark movie. He's funny. My husband's quoting Hallmark. I love him. He's not even on screen. Why don't you join us?
That's garland for you.
Why don't you join us? Okay, so did I miss any questions coming through when I was looking at you?
Oh, so I guess
No, I would put it in your ice cream. I want you to think how much vanilla you're putting in your ice cream is not going to usually be enough that it's going to cause an issue. So I would be aware of what you're putting into it, but it's one of those things. Like you have to be wise with it. But most people don't think about that. That's why I bring it up, because people are like, oh, I like a lot of vanilla, and then all of a sudden you have a shot in there. A teaspoon, a tablespoon with a whole bash isn't very much. And honestly, that's like a drop per serving. So I don't think that would be an issue. Like I plan on using it in ice cream, and it I was on blood pressure medicine. I had to be very careful with alcohol consumption, but I asked about using my homemade vanilla extract that's in alcohol, and that was fine. I mean, they said don't swig the bottle, but like that was fine. And so I think it's all about how much and what you do.
Quantity.
Yeah. I mean, just don't put a half a cup in
Be smart about it.
unless you want spiked vanilla ice cream, which might be good.
Maybe. We would have to test that.
We'll get back to you. Not anytime in the next month, though.
No.
My kitchen is torn apart. Guys, I have a confession. I bought my first loaf of bread that I have bought in 2 years. I wanted to cry. I wanted to cry. But I'm giving myself grace on, we've been eating more cruddy food the last week. My kitchen is in boxes, and there's just only so much home cooking I can do when I have to scrub the oven, scrub the counters, scrub everything inside of everywhere, empty the refrigerators, and pack. So, yeah.
It happens.
It happens, but store-bought bread
We even bought paper plates.
tastes like disappointment. Yeah, we have paper plates, we have paper mugs, cups, paper bowls, plastic silverware. I'm going against all my things, but when you're moving, you're moving. You got to do what you got to do. So,
Sad about no decoration though.
my husband feels like he's living in a hospital right now. So, but yeah, that's kind of my advice on all of vanilla. Our update is all of our furniture is almost gone. We have the couch left, which we'll be selling pretty soon. We have no beds in our bedrooms. We have no furniture in our bedrooms, really. My daughter's stuff has already been moved over to her dad's, and I can barely walk through my living room. But we just emptied the majority of the garage, and so we could start moving the stuff we have packed up in the living room out to the garage. And then finish going through things and cleaning and scrubbing. And my husband's brother and his wife came over with their kids on Saturday and Sunday. And because my husband has an injury, he can't lift stuff. So they helped carry everything down. And so they helped carry everything down for me and help take stuff to the dump and the mattresses to the dump and all that stuff. And I want to see that question in a second. And so I feel very blessed. And then my nephew came over and spent the night last night and helped help me load everything and bring it up to Goodwill today. We took 2 big old vehicles full over to Goodwill and donated stuff over there. And I am going to be a couch potato tonight and tomorrow and let my body heal up a little bit. I think I've done the stairs. I'm guessing somewhere between 100 and 200,
Thousands.
like a day up and down the stairs.
Thousands.
Like it has been insane. So my knee that I have issues with is burning, but we're doing good. Like we're excited. I feel very blessed and very thankful. And even though I bought my store-bought bread, I'm very thankful that they have store-bought bread because we needed easy food. And yeah, we're getting it done. It's getting very real. It's very exciting and very scary all at the same time. Okay, let's see. Oh, thank you, Nicole. It's going to be a long drive from California to Arkansas, but it's going to be worth it. Okay, so my extras is cookies, cooking only. Mother jar is like a perpetual jar. Yes, mother jar is like a perpetual jar. It is your choice whether you keep it all the same vanilla, all the same alcohol, or if you change up the alcohols and change up the vanilla types to get a more complex vanilla flavor over the years. So each year will taste different but similar, but different. And And because I know people who are like, okay, so this year I'm going to do rum in it, or they use whatever extra alcohols they have and finish out whatever bottles. Some people only use bourbon. I've honestly never had bourbon, and I've never made vanilla extract with bourbon. But I think that's what Roots and Refuge uses, and it sounded intriguing. So I may end up in the future doing that, but I'm on vanilla time out for a little bit. And so when I get off of timeout from buying vanilla, I have like literally like I want to say like a gallon and a half to 2 gallons of vanilla right now, and I'm having to move it cross country, and I have a lot of jars, guys, a lot of jars. Um, so yes, but you can keep adding to it, and yeah, it's amazing.
Bourbon.
Okay,
Makes
hi Dan. Let's see. I have 5 pint jars with vanilla beans with seeds loosened in vodka and Malibu rum. 3 vodka, 2 Malibu rum. Oh, wow. Yeah, some people are very strong with waiting. The longer you wait, the better. There's a lot of people who put, like, I see a lot of homesteaders put like 3 beans in a jar and use it after 2 months. You're pretty much using vanilla flavored alcohol at that point, and it's not an extract. But I bet you it tastes better than store bought extract still. But the regulations for single fold are 8 ounces of alcohol. No, yeah, 8 ounces of alcohol to 1 ounce of beans. But yes, I have never used Malibu rum for an extract. So I would love to know, Deanne, how that comes out. You said November at Thanksgiving time for all of your Christmas baking. I would love to know how that is, because Malibu rum is actually one of my favorite rums. I do that with when I do drink. I do that with the like fruit.
Fruit.
I am proofer. I like fruit for alcohol. I like that with. I get the like strawberry kerns or the
get mezcal or tequila.
my husband's a tequila guy. Can you tell he's my Mexican husband? Tequila.
Or bourbon. Because it grows hair on your chest.
He's addicted to the word bourbon after the Stivers bourbon barrel tea. And so now he thinks it grows hair on chests, which it doesn't.
It does.
I am living proof. But yeah, let me know how that goes, because I'm very, very, very curious. That sounds really, really good. Okay, I think we are gonna head off if there are no other questions. I'm gonna go. We're gonna go really fast and grab something for dinner, and then I am checking out of reality for 24 hours, and we're going to watch, probably because we started watching it again, the show Turn. It has 4 seasons or something. We started with my nephew and got back into that. So we may watch that. We may watch some chick flicks. I don't know.
Chick flicks? What?
We'll see. All I know is I'm going to sleep and I'm going to rest my muscles.
Probably sleep.
But when I get to packing my vanilla and jars, let's see. Oh, so sorry. Another stupid question. There's no stupid questions. That's how we learn. I am under the impression there is never a stupid question. Only, I guess I can only give a stupid answer. Okay. Okay, so that's a good question. So if a recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of vanilla, how much DIY do you use? Well, however much you want. I say measure with your heart. It depends on the recipe. If the liquid to dry ratio is really important, then I would stick with a teaspoon. Sometimes I'll double it. So in cookies, I have gone 2 teaspoons. It really depends on what you're using it in. And again, it depends on how strong your extract is. So a lot of times people like making the double fold extract, not a single fold. I'm making a double fold extract, so you only use half of the extract. Um, and then it's the same thing. Some people use paste because they like to, or cut open their beans because they like to have the caviar, the seeds inside, go throughout the recipe. Um, and so it depends on what's important to you. It depends on the recipe. I would say your first time making it, I would do it with what it calls for, and then do it maybe with double what it calls for, and see which one you like better. And that is such a personal preference. That is one thing though, when I cook gluten free, because my daughter needs to be gluten free. Gluten free usually needs more moisture in the recipes, and so that is one that I will usually double my vanilla extract or add an extra teaspoon. If it calls for 2 teaspoons, I'll usually just add one more teaspoon. Um, that's just something that I choose to do. Um, if it's not something being cooked, though, I would look at how much alcohol versus the ratio of whatever other liquid is in there per serving or something like that. So, but Nicole, I want to know how your smoothie tastes if you put it in your smoothie. That sounds really good. But I hope that answered that question. That's not a stupid question, but it's not an easy one to answer because it's so personal preference. Um, and it really depends on the recipe. So,
More is better.
yeah, we're into the impression more vanilla is better. I love vanilla.
You like vanilla and chili?
Oh, yeah. He's giving out our secrets. We use
Vanilla and chili.
Another way to use your used vanilla beans is let's see, another way to use your vanilla beans is if you're making chili in the slow cooker or on the stove, add vanilla beans, a couple vanilla beans to a big batch of chili, and use vanilla salt for your salt in it. And vanilla paired with beef is magical. That's all. It doesn't taste like vanilla, but it adds a complexity to the chili that is amazing. So, it's one of our secret ingredients. 2 of our secret ingredients, vanilla salt and vanilla beans. So that's another amazing way to use them. So,
Good luck.
yeah. So she's not going to do it in the smoothie because she doesn't drink. That works then. We'll try it for you. I don't drink that often. I drink, before I had my high blood pressure, I drank like 4 times a year. But,
You drink plenty of tea.
tea, yes, not alcohol is what I'm saying.
Oh, alcohol is different.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're talking about
drink.
alcohol. Yes, I drink tea. I just don't drink enough water. But now that I'm off my medicine, I can have some every once in a while. But yeah. All right, that's it. We're going to get off of here. I'm going to start rambling even more. We will see you guys next week. Stay tuned for the What Do You Want Us to Talk About post. I'm putting those in the community tab. So if you want to ask questions or you're looking at things, it can do with cooking, it can do with gardening, it can do with our move, we are all about living with intention, and we've talked lots of things. I am posting some pictures. I'm trying to keep up on my stories on Instagram a little bit. I've been really bad this weekend because we were super slammed with the yard sale. But yeah, and I think that if you're asking questions, Nicole was asking questions on the vanilla video, and I suggested we go here because then I can answer easier here as she's asking questions, and I think it's good for people to get the knowledge. And so, if you have questions, make sure you're checking the community tab and putting in what you want me to talk about, because it helps. I want to talk about what you want to hear. So that's it. We love you guys. We'll see you on the next one. Junior's waving from
Good night.
over there. And
Stream out.
we'll see you next week.